ride together, we die together.
Good marriage for life. I ain't saying no bad marriage. Hey, beautiful human. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dolores. This is my fiance, Charles. And welcome to Flourish with Dolores, where I give you the tools to embrace your journey. And remember that flourishing is about progress and not perfection, honey. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Will and Jada and just overall relationships and communication. But I'm going to let Bae take it over.
Yeah, so this has been an issue that's been on everybody's minds, especially the black community, for the last couple days. Most recently, if you guys have not had the opportunity to take a look at Jada Pinkett.
Everybody done seen this, especially by the time this comes out.
That's true. Probably most of you have seen it at this point. But for those who not, I definitely encourage you to take a look at it so what we're saying has a little bit more context. But basically, to summarize for those who haven't seen it, Jada went on the Red Table Talk and talked about
her entanglement.
An entanglement
with August.
Which is now going to be the word of 2020 now, entanglement, as if we needed something else to talk about this year. We have a bunch of different things that I think we want to discuss. And, you know, one of the first things I think that is important to discuss is how much you are required, or maybe not even required, to explain certain things that happen within your relationship. Now, I think Will and Jada are in a very unique position because they are a celebrity.
So I feel like with Jada and Will, I feel like when you're a public couple, I feel like you are owed some explanation. And I don't think, like, if you're an actor or actress or singer or whatever, if you're public, I'm not saying you necessarily have to tell all your business. But if you've already been telling some of your business and you're telling the good times, some of the bad times, when something like this goes viral, I feel like you do have to speak on it because you've already been telling us your business. And I feel like if Jada didn't have Red Table Talk where she brings people in, then, and because there was a point where Jada kind of just was falling back, like she wasn't on social media. Will wasn't on Instagram. So I think if this happened during that time, it would have been fine for them not to say anything. But they've been bringing people to this red table whenever things are hot and juicy. So I feel like it was only right for them to talk about it. I feel like, God forbid, knocking on wood, if there ever was like the D word, like of divorce or anything, I feel like we are owed our Facebook family, our Instagram family, my Flourish with Dolores family. I feel like I am owed some sort of explanation because I'm over here with my boo and we talking about what we think about stuff, and then all of a sudden something happened, now you quiet. I feel like you gotta say something. I feel like you do gotta say something.
I don't know. I think a couple things. I think in the aftermath of it, and we've seen this with other people that we know, I think in the aftermath of it, once you have either resolved it or, you know, if God forbid you end up breaking apart and then you want to discuss it, I think that's one thing. But I think that there are certain things within a relationship that really should just stay in-house. And, you know, one of the things that, because we're going through marriage, premarital counseling now, one of the things that we discussed was how to deal with disagreements. And one of the things that they did speak about is making sure those disagreements actually stay in-house. Because the issue is that, like, it's very easy for, you know, the man to talk to his boys or the woman to talk to her girls and say, oh, you know, my partner didn't do X, Y, Z. And that might not even be a big deal and you guys might have already worked through it. But because you relay that to your friends or family, every time they see you guys together, they're going to think,
be like,
oh, yeah.
I remember when he did this to you, girl. Like, that is true. Like, it is harder for your friends and family to forgive when your partner does do something wrong to you. When you already talked it out, you moved on. So that is why we learned in marriage counseling that you don't want to share all your business with your friends. But again, these are celebrities. They've already put their lives out there. But they put some good, they put some bad. Now this is out there, and I think a good reason for them to say something is that I feel like in life you can either write your story or you can have someone else write it. And there were so much rumors swirling around. It was at the point where either the media was going to make up what we thought the situation was, or they were going to be able to speak up and say what it is. And although people are making fun of the whole entanglement, blah, 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 I feel like when you are able to speak out and share your story, good or bad, then it's like, I said what I said, and now you guys know what it is. And then if people want to run with that, they run with that. But at least they had an opportunity to share their story.
Well, I'll say two things with that. I mean, there are definitely some black celebrities who have had a good marriage and you barely know anything, like Denzel and Paula, like I can't even think about the last time I heard anything
But
with
that's
them.
the point, babe, because they
and-
don't share anything.
Right.
Will and Jada have shared pieces of their story, and then they also, now Jada has put herself in a position where she's pulling out stories from other people. So it's like, sis, you bring people to the red table.
Yeah.
Now she had to bring herself to the red table.
What about-
But Denzel, he's maintained he is an actor, and that's who his identity has been.
What about Oprah and Stedman?
I wouldn't expect them to say something if something happened. I mean, I guess it's the same point. She brings in people.
Yeah, but she doesn't say anything about her and Stedman.
So it's consistent.
I don't know. I personally feel like, because I mean, look at what has happened because they did that. Now, I think one way, if they really, really wanted to handle, I think they could have gone a little better because first off, their publicist, whoever made the statement, first said it was completely not true. So that already was an issue because then now they came back and said, oh, on second thought, yeah, it was true. But I think they could have handled it. Why? They could have even put out a statement saying that, you know what, it's a private matter. We've discussed it. We've dealt with it together as a family and we're solid. Done, finished. We're not going to talk about it. So at least they acknowledged that it was out there, but said we're dealing with it like, you know, internally. Instead of putting all this out there, talking about entanglement, now that it's become another meme for 2020.
I think she was putting it out there in the style, in Jada's style, of what she's created, which was a red table talk. So I think that's just where the problem lies.
Yeah.
And I think, unlike Oprah and Stedman, they've never had discussions about their relationship. But one of the first episodes of Red Table Talk was talking about the whole co-parenting situation. So they've already opened it up. So now it's kind of expected. Like we feel like that's our uncle. Like, let us know what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like I think that's what makes it different. I think, for example, if I had Flourish with Dolores, but I never talked about my relationship, if something happened with my relationship, I don't think I'd have to owe that to anybody. But because I bring you on, we talk about our relationship, we give pieces, I feel like you got to say something. And it can be like the statement that you said, but you got to say something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also an issue of both you and your partner being comfortable with what's being said and to be on the same page. You know, one of the things that I kind of caught from watching that episode, and if you do watch it, I'm curious what you guys' opinion is. Well, like, I could tell that Will was definitely, he seemed very hurt about it.
Hurt.
Like it wasn't so much as like, because they tried to come off and make it seem like, oh, it's something we dealt with like years ago and we talked about it, whatever, but you could tell that Will still felt some sort of way about it. So I don't necessarily know if maybe he wasn't as comfortable about being on there and talking about it, or maybe, you know, maybe he didn't know about it as much. I don't know, but he didn't really seem like he was over it.
Yeah, he was hurt. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about this. Should they say something? Should they not? Let's move on to the next.
Yes. So I guess one of the other things I find interesting, and not even just with this, is the concept of what it means to be on a break. So I think it means a couple different things depending upon the context of your relationship, right? So I think it's a little different when you're talking about someone like you're dating, right? So let's say it's someone that you're dating and for whatever reason you guys aren't getting along and you decide to take a break. Now, that I feel like maybe you are, you know, less compelled to be, you know, faithful or focused on them because you guys are not married and, you know, let's say during this break you end up with, you know, someone else. Okay, fine, it happens. But I'm a little confused, a little concerned what it means to take a break while you're married. That's my thing.
Yeah, I feel like in marriage ain't no breaks, but I think that they said they were separated, like they were on the brink of divorce. So this isn't just like a cutesy. I remember, you know, just to be transparent, when we started early on in our relationship, long distance is tough. So I would ask for breaks, and you're like, nah, what's a break, sis? Either we together or we not. So you cut that, you nip that in the bud. But they're married, and they were on the brink of separation. Like, so that wasn't just a break. That was like, we're pretty much done. It's just the legal paperwork hasn't happened yet.
Right. I guess, you know, what I've always been taught is that you close a door before you open a new one. So, and the reason I say that, I don't know, because I was just always raised, and maybe as being raised in a Christian household, that like before you end up embarking on a new relationship, like you close and sign the paper, officially divorce before you start going on to, you know, a new one, because it's not fair to that person, especially, you know, and this is a perfect sense that like Jada was obviously feeling hurt about something, needed to focus on herself, and ultimately was able to reconcile with Will. Now that would be all fine, you know, if she didn't end up going on a relationship with another person, if she just needed a little bit of time to herself, fine. But I think things got very much complicated when she developed a relationship with another person, and I think it becomes harder to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I'm glad, thank you, Jesus, I got somebody who thinks one door closed before you go to the next. But I think another issue that people had with this is that August was in a very vulnerable place. They both were in very vulnerable places. So people are blaming Jada for sort of taking advantage of him being in a vulnerable place. I don't think it's really fair to blame Jada. I think maybe people do because she's older and he's younger, so it is. Actually, it is kind of taking advantage of a situation where someone is vulnerable, and then you're not necessarily, like you said, that door hasn't really closed, but you're kind of using that to make you feel good in that moment. So
yeah. And, one of the things, I guess, along those lines that I have been seeing is that definitely a lot of backlash against Jada. And I have seen some controversy with people saying that, if it was a man who had done this, then it would be, a double standard. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Will also did something while they were all separate. He's totally in the wrong, too. He's definitely in the wrong, too. I don't think doing that while you're in the sanctity of marriage is good for both parties.
And to just to kind of go back to what I was saying, I'm kind of like soft with Jay, like, well, maybe they shouldn't blame her. She was in a vulnerable place too. But now that I think about it, there is that double standard that we're protecting Jada because she is a woman. Because if it was a man who did that to a younger woman who was going through lupus, going through family issues, and the man did that to a younger woman, my relationship isn't working, but right now I'm entangled with you. Yeah. And then the relationship gets better, and they're like, deuces, my relationship's better. We would be feeling so bad for that woman if August was a female.
Y'all
we'd be feeling so bad. We'd be like, wow, well, you took advantage of her. Why would you do that? So there is a double standard in that sense. But then on the other end, there's a double standard that a woman can't be able to take a break and go and get entangled with somebody else. Because how many times do men take breaks and go and get entangled with somebody else? There's so many men who have break babies or have had children during the time of a break, and we just roll with it. We might make fun of them a little bit, but we just roll with it. It's more of the norm. But with Jada, it's different.
So, because I'm like, if Will did this, y'all would have been canceled Will. There would have been no Summertime Will. There would have been no Men in Black Will. All his movies would have been canceled. But
I don't think people would have went that far. We had a whole president, Bill Clinton, who cheated on his wife, and he was still able to move on. So, again, the double standard, I think when men do it, we don't look at it as bad.
But different time now, though. Different time. I think women in general are feeling more empowered and feeling able to speak their mind. So
yes, us women.
But I guess that's another point. So what is considered a break? Like, what are you supposed to do during a break? What is allowed? What is not allowed during a break? Is there a consensus, or is it something that you talk about beforehand? I don't know. I'm curious.
I don't know. Comment below. I think in a relationship, if a break is going to happen, I think both parties need to talk about, like, exactly those questions you were asking. I think both parties need to talk about, what does that break mean for us? What can we do? Are we able to be with other people or not? Is this just a break where we're, mentally getting ourselves where we need to be and we're taking time for ourselves? Because I feel like if you're taking time for yourself and you're in a break, maybe you shouldn't be getting up under other people. But then again, I'm not perfect either, so I feel like I can't tell people what they can and cannot do for their break, you know?
Right. I think August is in another tough position as well. Clearly, I know a little bit about his issues. I know he's been having some medical issues. He had some family issues as well, and I don't know, like, do you put the blame on him? Do you put the blame, mainly on Jada because she was older, she ought to have known better? Was it on him that he was wrong for, relaying that information without really getting, like, Will and Jada's permission or something?
Oh, I thought you meant, are we putting blame on the entanglement itself? Yeah. I feel like with the entanglement itself, they're grown, that's their business. Yeah. I don't think any of them are to blame. I feel like August is allowed to speak his truth. That's his aspect of his story, and I think because it's a celebrity that it happened to, we're not allowing him to speak his truth. But I feel like if something happened to me or an experience happened to me, I should be allowed to speak my truth. I'm sorry that it impacts your story and your truth, but it's also mine. So I feel like I wouldn't blame him. I don't blame Jada for what she did either with the entanglement or whatever, because they want to break whatever it is that they agreed within their relationship. They were able to do that. I think they just didn't expect it to come out. Whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you and your family, because no one's perfect. But in terms of it coming out, that's all. August has owed his story. And also he was asked, I think in the interview, he was asked, oh, there's been rumors about you and Jada. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
And then he wanted to put it out there that he didn't just sneak behind Will's back. Like, it was something that was agreed. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's why he said that aspect of the story.
Yeah. But my hope is, I hope that they do take the time to kind of reflect, maybe consider going back to counseling. I definitely recommend counseling for if you're in a relationship, you're thinking about marriage, or you're in marriage and trying to figure out how to, become better communicators. I think counseling is definitely a good way to go, and I hope that they're able to try to move on from it, because they are, I think they are both like really good people, and I enjoy the Red Talk tables too, and I always enjoy Will Smith, definitely one of my favorite actors of all time. But I hope they're able to kind of move on from this situation.
I think it's one of those things where there's certain celebrities or just certain people in our lives where we just expect them to be together and we expect them to be perfect.
Yes.
And I think this is just another lesson that no relationship is
Right.
perfect. And I think even with us, when people are like couple goals, like I love that, of course. But I like, don't make me your couple goals if it's because you think we're perfect. Because again, flourishing is about progress, not perfection.
Hey.
So we are far from perfect. I could be a little nutty. Charles could be a little nutty. We're far from perfect. So if we are your relationship goals, let it be because we keep it real, because we show that we're not perfect, but we show that we love each other and that we want to work towards being the best that we can be despite our flaws. So let me be your relationship goal because of that, not because you think I'm perfect. But I think we have certain relationship goals like Will and Jada because we think they're perfect, because we think they're doing everything the right way. So when something like this happens, we're like, Auntie, Uncle, really? Like, we just feel so emotionally tied and so emotionally disappointed when we're all human. We make some crazy, silly mistakes. It's just fortunately for us, we don't gotta tell y'all, But I feel like the more you put out, the more people just expect it. So it's kind of here or there. But that's it for this episode. On the next video, you're gonna see us hanging out with our friends. It was super chill. We didn't even expect to be recording that day. So if you like this video and you want to see more of this, make sure you check out the next video that's coming. And then at some point, we're going to do a video where we talk about our marriage counseling experience and just more marriage, relationship, transitioning stuff. So comment below if you enjoyed this video, what else you want to see from us. We love for you to subscribe and to join the Flourish with Dolores family.
We ride together. We die together.
Good marriage for life. I ain't saying no bad marriage. As soon as she said that, I was like, no, Jesus. Knock on wood. Love y'all.
See ya.
Peace. You look cute.
Thank you.
Little stomach.